of the inevitable outcomes while exchanging shared experience, enjoying activities in education, research, and also community engagement. That idea is reflected on the title of this symposium, ASEAN Role in Sustainable World Development. The symposium is divided into major sessions. The first one would be plenary session and also chamber sessions, focusing on health sciences, science and technology, and also social and humanities. After the conclusion of this opening ceremony, plenary session will be commencing while chamber sessions are to be conducted tomorrow. Please give applause to all of us here in the Monday morning. And next is to sing the national anthem of the Republic of Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, please arise. Ladies and gentlemen, have a seat. Before we commence our opening ceremony, I would like to invite all of our distinguished guests and participants to take a moment for a prayer. This prayer will be lead by Mr. Ahmad Yasin.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak Ibu saudara-saudari yang dirahmati Allah Subhanahu wa taala, untuk kelancaran acara simposium ini, marilah kita awali dengan sama-sama baca doa kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala, Tuhan yang Maha Kuasa, sesuai dengan keyakinan kita masing-masing. Amin. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin, hamdan yuwafi ma huwa yukafi mazid. Ya Rabbana wa ilahana lakal hamdu wa lakal syukru kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karim wa 'azimi sultanik. Allahumma shalli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma ij'al jam'ana hadha jam'an mubarakan marhuma wa tafarruqana ba'da hadha tafarruqan hasanan ma'suma. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Kuasa, kami sadar bahwa betapa banyak kenikmatan yang Engkau berikan kepada kami, sehingga kami dapat berkumpul dalam mengikuti acara ini. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Pengasih, betapa ingkar nikmatnya kami apabila tidak dapat mensyukuri nikmat yang Engkau berikan kepada kami selama ini. baik itu nikmat kesehatan, nikmat kesempatan, maupun nikmat-nikmat yang lainnya. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Penyayang, kami memohon kepadamu, kiranya Engkau jadikan acara simposium ini sebagai acara yang lancar dan Engkau ridhoi, sehingga tujuan pelaksanaannya dapat tercapai dan dapat membawa kemaslahatan bagi kami semua. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Agung, bimbinglah kami agar bisa terus mempersembahkan yang terbaik bagi bangsa dan negara kami khususnya, dan bagi bangsa lain umumnya. Semoga Asia dapat terus maju dan dapat terus menopang perkembangan dunia ke arah yang lebih baik, baik di bidang riset dan inovasi maupun pada bidang-bidang yang lainnya. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Pengampun, ampunilah dosa kami, ampunilah dosa kedua orang tua kami, ampunilah dosa orang-orang yang berjasa dalam hidup kami, dan ampuni pula dosa para pemimpin kami. Allahumma yassir alaina kulla asir, Allahumma yassir umurana umur ad-din wa dunya wal akhirah. Allahumma la tada' lana dhanban illa ghafartah, wa la hamman illa farajtah, wa la daynan illa qadaitah, wa la maridan illa syafaitah, wa la hajatan min hawaiji dunya wal akhirah illa qadaitaha wa yassartaha ya arhamar rahimin. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim, wa tub alaina ya maulana innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Ya Allah, kabulkanlah doa dan permohonan kami. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Bihamdika subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmad Yasin. We pray for the success of this event and we hope that the objective of this event may be well achieved. Ladies and gentlemen, next event would be a welcome remarks by Professor Dr. Bambang Wibawata SKMA as the Vice Rector of Academics and Student Affairs. Before he was inaugurated as Professor in Literature in 2013, also for a position as the Dean of Faculty of Humanities, Director of Center for Japanese Studies, lectures at Japanese Studies programs, and also postdoctoral research at International Christian University Tokyo. Professor Bambang, time is yours.
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Secretary General of Ministry of Research, Technology and Higher Education, Republic of Indonesia, Professor Ain, Honorable Chairman of and Secretary for the Board of Trustees, and also Academic States, NEC, Deans from Faculty of Humanities, Faculty of Nurse, and Faculty of Public Health, and also from Faculty of Psychology and another names. And honorable ambassadors from some countries, Asia and also Colombia, dear colleague, distinguished guest, Professor Melda, Head of International Office and also chairperson of this event, students and ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi. On behalf of Universitas Indonesia, I'd like to express our sincere appreciation and gratitude to all of you, prominent researchers and professors from 15 Asian countries, for your participation in this event, the first Asian Researchers Symposium 2016. Welcome to Universitas Indonesia and welcome to Depok. Welcome to Indonesia. Indonesia is the mega diversity country with more than 17,000 islands and more than 1,000 ethnic groups and more than 700 languages. I'd like to give you a brief information about our university. Universitas Indonesia, established in 1849, and at that time, the Dutch government established a school of education for medicine, call it Sekolah Dr. Jawa, or the Jawa School, School for Japanese doctors. And today, Universitas Indonesia consists of 14 faculties, one vocational program, and one graduate school. And our student body here is about 48,000, with more than 4,500 faculty members, professors and lecturers, and 6,000 supporting staff. And actually we have two campuses, one here in Depok and another one is in Central in Salemba. As a leading comprehensive university in Indonesia, we are at the forefront of three pillars: higher education, research, education, economic, and also community engagement. As a nation flagship university, Universitas Indonesia is committed to enhance research capacity and contribution to address national, regional, and also the global challenges. While having a responsibility as a national-owned university, we enjoy extensive collaboration with partner universities abroad with shared standpoint on how higher education contributes to the civilization, especially to the sustainability. The symposium would be an event where researchers from our partner universities in the region are brought together, aiming to further encourage exchange of research findings with our researchers in this university. This is a collaborative way to address issues from researchers and academics perspective in national, regional context. We hope that the future research network will establish from the symposium and new research collaborations among Asian researchers will be initiated while strengthening relationship in any other areas. And why Asia? Despite the large population, Asia is the fastest growing economic region in the world, and Asia is the Earth's largest and most populous continent. It has historically been home to the world's first modern civilization and has always hosted the bulk of the planet's human population. Thank you also to Professor Melda Kamil, head of international office, also the chairperson of this event. Thank you for your hard work and organizing this event. And again, thank you for coming to Indonesia here in Depok and also participating in the first Asian Research Symposium 2016. And have a fruitful discussion and collaboration. Thank you very much. Selamat pagi. Assalamualaikum.
I would like to invite Professor Dr. Ainun Naim as Secretary General for the Ministry of Research and Higher Education to give a welcoming speech. He was appointed as Secretary General in March 2015. He was Take undergraduate at Gajah Mada University, master in Western Michigan University, USA, and also doctorate at Temple University, USA. He was vice rector for administration, finance, and human resources, Gajah Mada University. Professor Adinain, please.
Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Your Excellency, Vice Rector for Academics and Student Affairs of the Universitas Indonesia, Bapak Dr. Joko Setiadi, Head of Lembaga Sandi Negara, Bapak Iwayan Widyo, Rektor of Universitas Pertahanan Indonesia, university leaders, researchers, and also participants of this symposium. First of all, allow me to extend our appreciation and gratitude to Universitas Indonesia and all the participants for the symposium with the theme of ASEAN role in sustainable world development. This symposium and also the topic is very important, especially in the current situation. Our world have been experiencing a lot of challenges and facing new way on the way people live under the new advanced technology. We enjoy the development of science and technology, and the technology has changed the way we live, the way we do business, but we still face many important challenges, one of which we will discuss in the symposium, and it is the sustainable development. Other issues, we still have conflicts here and there, so we are struggling how we maintain the peaceful life and democracy in our world. We also still face the problem of environment, how we have sustainable, safe water supply, safe environment, sustainable energy, and others. On behalf of the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Higher Education, of course we support and we give high appreciation for this kind of symposium. The Ministry of Science, Technology, and Higher Education of the Republic of Indonesia is responsible for facilitating the development of science, technology, and higher education in Indonesia. We have more than 100 government-supported universities and more than 3,000 private universities in Indonesia. All of them have more than or about 6 million students. In addition, we have a number of research institutions who address many issues from energy to social democracy and also information and communication technology. there is a new focus in our development under the current government of Indonesia, where the government put priority in building infrastructure for this country. To support that priority, we need more people who has expertise in the area, especially in science and technology. As Mr. Vice Rector mentioned, Indonesia is a country with unique characteristics, with large number of people and large number of islands, and also very multicultural. We are also a country with one of the largest country where we successfully apply democratic life with democratic government. We can say that at least relatively we can maintain a peaceful life among multicultural and multi-religious people. With these unique environments, of course, we can develop science and technology in a multidisciplinary and comprehensive approach to support our role in developing a sustainable life. So, again, we appreciate for the conducting of this important symposium. I believe that this forum, and this is the first one, hopefully it will be sustained for the next symposium, addressing important issues for the benefit of humanities in this world. Enjoy the symposium, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Director. And we also honored to have our distinguished ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Mr. Poma Boltafong, Ambassador of Lao PDR, His Excellency Mr. Abdullah Hassan Saleh, Ambassador of the Republic of Iraq, His Excellency Mr. Sadeh Muhammad Ohman bin Sadeh, Ambassador of Libyan Arab, also Mr. Mosdaq Ali, Libyan Embassy, Mr. Khalid Al-Zubair, Libyan Embassy, and also Mrs. Sarah Spons from Dutch Embassy. And we want to invite again Professor Ayman Naim and also Professor Bambang to come to the stage. And there is a token of appreciation from Professor Bambang Wiwawata to Professor Dr. Ayman Naim. And then also following by the gong striking, and we will come to invite Professor Melda Kamil Ariano as the chairperson of the committee to come to the stage, and also Professor Ayn Naim and Professor Bambang to gong striking at the moment. And there's a photo station for this morning. We would like to invite our NWA, Dewan Guru Besar, Senat Academic, Vice Rectors, Executive of Central Administrations, Dean, and also speakers and moderators. We would like to invite all the speakers and moderators. Please come to the stage. Professor Tri Budi Wiraharjo, Dr. Budi Wiwanto, Dr. Calvin Wei Lunho, Dr. Didi Nur Tami, Dr. Agustin Kusumayati, Associate Professor Genta Kato, Dr. Mahdi Jufri, Professor Eji Maisura PhD, Professor Sandiawati PhD, Professor Yuko Ohara Hirano, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Harinabi, Profesor Rea Lim PhD, Dr. Abdul Haris, Profesor Susuma Kajiwara, Mirna Adriani PhD, Dr. Insinyur Muhammad Asfiya. We would like to invite also Riani Rahmawati PhD, Profesor Ali Kunchoro PhD, Profesor Dr. Arman Nariman, Profesor Dr. Sulfiawati Irianto, Profesor Dr. Tupo Santoso. We would like to invite also Zapelia Dewantari Yuyanto PhD, Dr. Joy Rifa Mutia, Profesor Hideki Onira, Medi Kusanti PhD, Manake Budiman PhD, Profesor Mariko Saki PhD, and also we would like to invite Mayor General TNI Purnawirawan Dr. Joko Spidianesi, Lieutenant General TNI Iwayan Widio, Ambassador Ferry Adam HSLRN, and also His Excellency Mr. Poma Boekafung, His Excellency Mr. Abdullah Hasan Salih, His Excellency Mr. Salim Omar Ben Saleh, Mr. Mohdan Tali, Mr. Khalid Al-Zubair, Mr. Sarah Promes. Profesor Bensuya Sukato.
Kalau tidurin aja dulu samping-samping.
Sebentar, sorry ya.
Ibu.
Oke, Bu. Bu, maaf ya, saya mau ambil foto dari sana.
Ada di sini.
Pak, duduk semua ya. Duduk dulu ya, Mas. Sorry, Mas. Ibu, maaf ya. Mau foto dari belakang. Oke.
Belum bawa foto, naik foto.
Tes. Oke. Sorry, Mbak Frida.
Mbak.
Oke, ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. One again. Okay. Yep,
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And then to raise another forward, we would like to invite all the participants to stand in, and then we're going to take a pictures with all of you. And please squeeze in into the centrals of the stage. Kepada para hadirin untuk merapat ke bagian tengah karena kita akan mengambil foto bersama. Baik, sekali lagi kami mengundang Bapak Ibu untuk merapat ke bagian tengah karena kita akan mengambil foto bersama. We would like to have ladies and gentlemen to standing together, and then please move on to the central. We will take another group photo. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please give big applause for Roman too. Right. A very nice group photo. And that's the end for the opening ceremony. We will start the presentation in the next 15 minutes, and during the coffee break, served outside the ballroom.
Ini internasional kalau
We would like to call our speakers for the first sessions, Dr. Bobi Wiwato, Dr. Calvin W. Lumbo, Dr. Didi Mortani, Dr. Agustin Kusunayati, Associate Professor Dr. Om Tangkato, Dr. Mandi Jufri, Professor Elvi Makmura, Professor Triwati, and Professor Ivo Ohara to come to the stage for the final review.
dia terlalu umum nih. Yang menangani ini sebenarnya izin. Yang izin. Dita. Dita.
And also, Mr. Sasha. And we would like to have our journalists and TV reporters to stay to the ballroom because we will have a press conference in the next 15 minutes.
Oh, ini.
Once again, we would like to inform that we have a press conference in the next 5 minutes. So please stay for the journalist and TV reporter. And also for the audience, there is a coffee break served outside the audience. We will start at 9:30.
Tapi banyak kelas sana ya.
Speakers for the next sessions are Dr. Bobi Wiwato, Professor Mifria Kato, Dr. Calvin Warwood, Dr. T. Mortani, Dr. Agustin Kusumayati, Associate Professor Dr. Om Tangkato, Dr. Mandi Jufri, Professor Alji Matsura, Professor Setiawati, Professor Yuko Omar and lead by Professor Dr. Tri Budi Wiraharjo. That's for the first sessions about the health sciences.
Bu Melda. Ya, oke. Terima kasih teman-teman wartawan. Terima kasih teman-teman wartawan yang sudah hadir. Jadi hari ini adalah acara untuk yang pertama kalinya dilakukan oleh Universitas Indonesia, merupakan simposium dari para peneliti tingkat Asia. Di sini sudah hadir Prof. Ain Naim dan juga ada Prof. Bambang Wibowo. Jadi mungkin yang pertama kepada Prof. Ain Naim, Prof. Kira-kira apa harapan untuk Kemenristek ini khususnya Prof. Pada untuk acara-acara yang seperti ini, semoga seperti apa, Prof?
Ya, terima kasih Bapak dan saya kira acara simposium seperti ini dengan tema sustainable development itu sangat penting untuk menjawab tantangan mengenai sustainable development itu sendiri dan merupakan tantangan yang nyata pada abad sekarang maupun yang akan datang. Kemudian dari segi akademik dan pengembangan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi ini kita harapkan bisa memberikan kontribusi baik pada Indonesia maupun dunia dalam pengembangan baik khususnya pada isu-isu pembangunan yang berkelanjutan. Nah, tantangan kita sekarang ini sebetulnya berhenti pada penelitian atau pengembangan ilmu pengetahuan, juga bagaimana ilmu pengetahuan itu betul-betul bisa bermanfaat bagi manusia, atau bagaimana kemudian dan juga pengembangan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi itu menghasilkan inovasi. Dan simposium seperti ini diharapkan memberikan stimuli sehingga nanti yang kegiatan ataupun minat untuk kemudian untuk pengembangan ilmu pengetahuan teknologi dan inovasi di Indonesia itu semakin besar. Saya kira itu kemudian yang saya sampaikan.
Baik, event ini adalah memang dibuat sengaja untuk yang pertama adalah agar para researcher sebelumnya mungkin mereka sudah punya network, tapi bisa membangun network baru, bisa meningkatkan collaborative research dan kerjasama berbagai bidang. Dan berikutnya nanti juga akan melibatkan mahasiswa dan juga melibatkan pihak-pihak lain. Terus ada harapan ke depan tidak yang bisa mengambil benefit tidak hanya Universitas Indonesia, tapi pastinya juga diharapkan juga nantinya bisa memanfaatkan untuk kegiatan di Universitas Indonesia ini. Dan beberapa negara sudah berkomitmen tentu saja untuk melakukan kerjasama ini untuk membuat kerjasama misalnya saja pengiriman mahasiswa, kemudian pertukaran pengajar, kemudian joint research, joint publication dan lain sebagainya. Nah, seperti ini Pak. Dengan adanya event seperti ini bisa lebih meningkat di masa yang akan datang. Berbagai macam isu yang tadi Prof. katakan sangat penting untuk perhatikan yang merupakan juga tantangan tentu saja bagi Indonesia ke depan dengan jumlah penduduk yang sangat besar ini, dengan juga resource yang semakin terbatas, tentu sumber daya manusia menjadi investasi yang sangat penting untuk diperhatikan.
Terima kasih. Oke teman-teman, ada yang mau bertanya? Dan Mbak Maris kan, Mas Heru? Monggo ya.
Profesor Eiji Matsura from Okayama University, Japan. Profesor Setiawati from Faculty of Nursing, Universitas Indonesia. And last but not least, Profesor Yuko Ohara Hirano from Nagasaki University, Japan. Very nice president. Ladies and gentlemen, I would want to read the CV from all of them because can see and you can read from the book abstractly. But we know that all of them are experts in health sciences in various kind of aspects. First of all, I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Budi Wiweko from Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Indonesia. You will have only 50 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me to this very prestigious meeting. So, on behalf of Faculty of Medicine of Indonesia, I'm trying to present what is our contribution in order to prevent non-communicable diseases in Indonesia. Slide, please. So we can start from the current situation, in the health situation in Indonesia within the last 10 years, and then life course approach in primary prevention, and then where we go from here. Next slide, please. This is our current data last year. Non-communicable diseases was responsible to be the number one of cause of death in Indonesia. We can see this cardiovascular disease, cancer, and then diabetes mellitus is the first cause of death in Indonesia. Slide, please. And you can clearly see this is what happened in the epidemiological transition within the 25 years. As you can see, the yellow one is the non-communicable diseases. In 2015, the big four cause of death from non-communicable diseases: stroke, cardiovascular, cancer, and diabetes. And this is what happened in Indonesia. Next slide. And also, I'm sure, I'm quite believe also happened in another country, increasing the prevalence of obesity, not only in male, in above picture, also in female. And you can see even the female, even the increasing of obesity is really higher than male. Slide. And also another important thing, this is the expert of the chairperson this morning, increasing aging population. By the year 2025, we can see many reproductive age of Indonesian populations and also many aging people because of increasing life expectancy. You know that Indonesia, around 67 years old, the life expectancy for female, and then for male, and then 69 years old for female. In aging population, also we are facing another problem, including health and science. Right? And what is our goals? This is our Ministry of Health goals. There are two main goals addressed by Ministry of Health. The first, trying to improving public health status, including decreasing maternal mortality rate, decreasing infant mortality rate, and decreasing the stunting rate. And at the second arm, our government working hard to improve access and also the quality of health services, including our independency in the drug development, in the pharmacies, and also the health equipment. Slide, please. So that's why we are trying to do more comprehensive approach in order to prevent not only communicable but also non-communicable diseases. We are studying from the very early, this from birth to death or from womb to tomb approach. The most important thing is the primary prevention. As we can see, this is a transdisciplinary approach, starting from the socio-economic factors, demographic factors, and the really quite important is how we preparing, how we planning, how we prevent the good pregnancy for every woman. As Ban Ki-moon said, as the General Secretary of WHO, the two important things in the world, the first is women, and the second is women. So no one cares about men. Next slide. This is the theory proposed by Bakers in 2002, that every adult disease should be origin starting from pregnancy. So how the first 9 months will shape the rest of our life. Every nutrition, every treatment during pregnancy will influence what happened the next 30 years, 40 years, or maybe 50 or even 70 years after delivery. Right? So that's why this reproductive health is really important. So we are trying to more focus on the left side. This is before pregnancy, infertility women, and then how we prepare, how we planning the pregnancy well, and then afterward we are carrying the pregnant women well, and then we are carrying the children, adolescents, adult, and becoming the menopause. How we keep this kind of life course approach become healthy, right? The 3 pillars of health and research innovation is very important. The universities, School of Medicine, teaching hospital, and also research center, like this. And this is our research institute, which was established in Faculty of Medicine. We established around 18 research clusters, which is we are focusing on drug development, we are focusing on human reproduction, human genetics, medical technology, and stem cells. It's quite related with the non-communicable disease evidence in Indonesia. Right? And what is our achievement? This is one of our current achievements. We are starting to develop human genetic-based disease screenings. We already know that the genetic of embryos will determine the disease. We have a very high incidence of thalassemia, single gene disease, or aneuploidy, or even sex-related diseases like this. So by doing this is one example of our result. This is one of embryos coming from the young women, 32 years old. By doing genetic screening using microarray, we can find any aneuploidy in the chromosome number 4. So it means even the morphological of embryos in the left side, this is the beautiful blastocyst on day 5, before we replace them to the womb or to the uterus, we can see this is not unhealthy embryo. This is the unhealthy embryos. Slide please. And this is another one. This is another embryos coming from 42 years old ladies. This is coming from rather old ladies. We can see this genetic pattern. Many abnormalities across all of the chromosome. You can see multiple monosomy, multiple trisomy, and then it cannot make a good pregnancy. Even we replace embryos to the mothers, it can come to the miscarriage, or it can come syndrome or another abnormalities like this. And also we are focusing on how we can detect the multi-drug resistance of tuberculosis. Also, we are, I think, number 3 in the world as one of the countries with high burden of tuberculosis. Why very high incidence or high prevalence? Because multi-drug resistance. So that's why collaboration with WHO, we do the whole genomic sequencing in Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which is multi-drug resistance. Right? And also for the cancer. It's very important that most of women with cervical cancer come to the hospital in Indonesia in advanced stage, 3B, 3A. So how come? The survival is very low. So very important for us how to do early detection. So that's why we do the research to make a diagnostic kit, how we can detect how many abortive high risk of human papillomavirus, which is very important if you want to prevent young women from suffering from cervical cancer, right? And also another important thing, Indonesia is archipelago. Indonesia has more than 17,000 islands, and the distribution of obstetrician is not good. That's why our maternal mortality rate is quite high. So establishing collaboration is really important. This is our research in our group, trying to establish the ultrasound-based, Android-based ultrasound, tele-ultrasound. So this kind of ultrasound can be used by GP in the primary healthcare to make a detection of high expectancy, and then they can submit the data to the obstetrician in our faculty, and then we do the interpretation, what happened, and then we submit back to the GP in the rural area. Slide, please. And also doing VIA, visual inspection of acetic acid. It is one of the important things to do early detection of cervical cancer. So that's why we established the telemedicine system, tele-documentation of VIA. So improving, escalating the competency of midwife and also GP, how they can detect the very early stage of cervical cancer. Right? And then about drug development, we are focusing on Indonesian biodiversities. So we are focusing on how to establish our biodiversities becoming drugs, anti-cancer, anti-mycin, and also drug delivery, curcumin a lot. We can we can find a lot in almost in the areas around Indonesia, right? And for the human biology, this is also one of the research working group that has a very good achievement in our center in order to do vaccine development and antiviral drugs. Now is the project is running for establishing the vaccine development on HIV, TB, and dengue, and also hepatitis. Slide, please. And stem cells. Stem cell is becoming very sexy, the most sexiest issue in the world, because we are facing the aging population. We are very need of regenerative medicines. So our stem cell center has capabilities doing isolation mesenchymal center from umbilical cord. So we can do the treatment, the stem cell treatment for the myocardial infarct patient. We can do stem cell treatment for osteoarthritis, for the diabetes mellitus.
You have another 2 minutes.
Slide, please. And the last, this is for healthy behavior changes. How we train our patient, they should know when they should get pregnancy. They should know how can they determine their biological age. So we launching the smart application, so the patient can use this kind of very user friendly to know whether they can pregnant or not, right? And the clinical research also is very important. We support all of the research with clinical research unit, slide please. And the last, I think this is the very important thing, we do the comprehensive collaboration with the public-private partnership. So all of our invention you can find in this website, innovate.fk.ui.ac.id. Slide. I think I'm coming to my last slide. So the goals of the research in cocktail medicines is clear. We are trying focus on primary prevention, establishing telemedicine, addressing self-supporting for the drug and health equipment with the 3 pillars in innovations. This university, hospitals, and research centers, completed with a clinical research supporting unit and also technology transfer office, which is supporting us, which is facilitating us to make a good collaboration with not only government institutions but also private or company. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much. This approach is very clear, and then you also mentioning that this is the policy of governing school, like possible. Thank you so much. The second presenter will be Professor Itsuya Sotaro.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mikato from Fukuoka, Japan. I'm really happy to be here and give a talk. My research interest is how cancer grows in our body. What's the difference between cancer cell and normal cells? Our research partially conducted by the student from Indonesia. I have two PhD students who graduated in University of Indonesia currently. So anyway, go to the next. 40, 50 years ago, many genes responsible for cancer growth identified by using this simple experimental system. Cancer cells grow even without encourage. So in soft agar, cancer cells grow, but normal cells cannot grow. By using this special characteristic of cancer cells, most cancer-related genes, oncogenes, identified. But click plus please. But many different genes commonly induce secreting factors, and this secreting factor can induce cancer-like growth phenotype on normal cells, even without any genetical change. Normal cells may visible colonies in soft agar, and these factors were identified to be transforming the factor alpha and beta. Alpha was known factor, but beta was driving factor, and no one knows how TGF beta induces this cancerous growth. So many people focus on this next slide, please. One of my current staff identified transcription factor MAPK. Transcription factor is the gene which regulates gene expression. MAPK is induced by TGF beta. It's left upper panels. And when she expressed this gene in breast epithelial cells, ordinary monolayer culture left lower panel did not affect it, but encouraged independent growth, highly activated by this gene. So we started to think about why this special culture condition can distinguish cancer cells and normal cells. Let's go to the next. So this is the size distribution after 5 days, 8 days, and 10 days. And upper panel is normal cells, lower panel market transformed cells. 5th day blue, 8th day red, 10 days green. Red and green almost overlap in upper normal condition. But lower condition, blue, red, green gradually increase the size. So normal cells stop to increase the size, but cancer cells continue to increase the size. Okay. So why normal cells stop the size? They all stop proliferating. Go to the next slide, please. It's not the case. Like even normal cells still making growth, but size, total cell number don't change. It must be because growing cell number and dying cell number get balanced. And in these culture conditions, like lower panel indicate, there are mixed population. Cancer cells have highly proliferating, rapidly proliferating cells, and slowly proliferating cells, intermittently proliferating cells. Go to the next, please. So this is the model. Our body composed of intermittently proliferating stem cells and rapidly proliferating cells. And these intermittently proliferating cells can continue endless growth, but other cells all die. If we program like this, can you click this? No. This is moving. So this is moving. So early time point, only young cells grow. So at early time point, total cell number increase, but gradually old cells start to die, and dying cell numbers catch up the number of growing cell numbers. That's why, click again. In this condition, please go to the next, please. Yeah, in this condition, early time point total cell number increase, but after some time always get worse. That's the condition our body has. Blood, skin, epithelial cells, all cells proliferating, but total cell number constant in our body. Okay, go to the next page. But how cancer cells continue to grow? We have several possibilities, but in our simulation model, click one please. If differentiated, click. Yeah, if differentiated cells return back to stem cell condition, these kind of abnormality make total cell number never balance, continue to grow. So, and these stem cells which intermittently proliferating, and it cause the tumor formation metastasis. So, we thought this may be the important characteristics only cancer cells have. Go to next page. So, in this condition, total cell number together with intermittently proliferating cell number continue to grow in our body. Okay, so please. So, MAPK is in our cells, inside of our cell, inside our nucleus. It's very difficult to target. And we found cell surface molecule dependently clearly induced by MAPK. And breast cancer cells, when the beam MAPK knocked down, dependently also come down. So usually is the target gene induced by MAPK. Go to next page. And when we knock down only GPNB, MAPK induced oncology-dependent growth and breast cancer growth both clearly reduced. So GPNB is the target gene responsible for making that kind of cancer-like growth phenotype. GPNB is cell surface transplanted protein, and many researchers focus this compound, this molecule expressed highly expressed in many different cancer cells, and anti-GPNB, antibody, anti-tubulin, anti-cancer drug conjugate is now in clinical trial. Anyway, we focus on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to the next. So we GPNB also enough. GPNB only enough to induce this anti-dependent growth. Go to next. It also makes very aggressive growth in the mice. Go to next, please. And we made the molecule which specifically binding to this molecule, and made visualized system. Go to next, please. So this is the I hope you see. So only the number of green fluorescent you can see here, and these are GPNB expressing cells, and these expression we see only in this oncology dependent, not in common blood culture cells. So I think this is special phenotype is observed in this condition. Go to next. Keep one slide, please. Keep this slide, please. And when we check this GPNB expression, keep one, please. Had so-called cancer stem cell phenotype was observed in green fluorescent positive cells. Go to next. So our data suggests we know many cancer-specific phenotypes, but one is probably symmetric division of stem cell or reverse differentiation from stem cell must be the common important phenotype in cancer cells, and we hope in the near future we can target this kind of specific phenotype. Go to next. Here I have my laboratory members. We have four members from the university. Thank you very much for your
presentation about that's approved, and then this presentation I think quite difficult, especially to grasp still related, and then we will continue. Thank you. We will continue to the third presentation by Dr. Kavin Y. Lumbu from National University of Singapore. He will focus on study and medical and professional.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. And also congratulations to the organizers for this wonderful initiative. I'd like to take this opportunity to speak a little bit about the project that we have, which is done between National University of Singapore Medical School, in particular in collaboration with the World Health Organization. So this is one aspect of our work towards implementing or realizing the Sustainable Development Goals, having moved forward from the MDGs. So let me speak a little bit about what we're doing, and my main objective is to see if there are any amongst you who are interested in collaborative engagement. We have essentially in this project focused on the weaker countries of the World Health Organization. Indonesia, of course, will be a member of the Sierra region, and so we hope to get the conversation started and hopefully some uptake in moving the UAC agenda. Thank you. Next slide, please. So that's very much a very quick overview. It's quite different from the sort we said we heard of earlier by the two presenters. So in terms of broad categorization, the study that I'll speak a little bit more of belongs very broadly to the genre of health policy and systems research. WHO, as you know, was very interested to get good science to support their work with each of the various country offices and the governments throughout not only this region but the world. So this is an encouragement to all of us researchers to try to produce good work so that it can be implemented by way of good policy for the benefit of everyone. So I'm trying to the next slide. So I thought for those of you who are not familiar with universal health coverage, I'll speak a little bit about that. I am, of course, in this presentation concerned with the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal number 3 on health and well-being. Because the initiative started some time ago, the key report being the 2010 report of the World Health Organization, highlighting the very broad framework for universal health coverage. There's been, if you see that report on the left side, so that's the report on research that's meant to support this particular initiative. For us, our center have been involved in, again, work with World Health Organization and a number of other academic colleagues in putting together the report on the right side. So that focuses on a particular aspect of the Universal Health Coverage Initiative, particularly on the value of equity and the sort of role that we have in health system development. Next slide, please. So very broadly, I hope you get these slides later on. It just sets out the broad parameters of universal health coverage. So at least in terms of the ideal, every health system in the world should be accessible, it should be affordable, there should be ready access to essential medicines, and of course there should be a sufficiently motivated and well-trained healthcare providers in place to support the system. So that's probably the framework. Next slide, please. So these are the critical dimensions, which if I may trouble you for the next slide, I think this might be more illustrated. Next slide, please. Thank you. It's graphically represented in terms of the Universal Health Coverage Initiative developments in three different dimensions in terms of the service coverage, in terms of the number of people who we are attempting to cover, and of course protection against catastrophic financial payments. So of course out-of-pocket payments being a very major concern. So towards the end of the MDGs, we have worked together with colleagues in both World Health Organization and the World Bank in developing a set of indicators. These indicators have been published in a special issue in 2014 in Close Medicine. It's an open access or open source journal. You're most welcome to have a look at that. And it's still being debated how effective these indicators are in measuring the success, at least in this particular aspect of of financial protection concerns in UHC. So it's still ongoing work, but if I may jump to the next slide, thank you. We have focused on specific dimensions of financial protection. And here I'm focusing on our 2014 report. There is a reference at the end for those of you who are interested. So here we feel that in moving forward with this initiative to offer financial protection, especially to the worst off in every society, in terms of healthcare coverage, it must satisfy the requirement of equity or fairness. So how do we think about fairness? So these are some of the broad ideas that we have set out in this particular 2014 report. And certain countries have implemented this initiative by way of policy. Of course, we're still discussing in terms of appropriate measures that we can put in place. But generally, if I may trouble you with the next slide, thank you. So generally, we have put forward a particular approach in thinking about fairness in terms of accountability, for instance. Accountability was not very well discussed within at least the financial aspects of universal health coverage. So in bringing in this model, we have sort of expanded the discussion within the health system to look beyond financial economics and to think about some of the other notions that are also, or components that are also important within a health system. So of course, we adapted and developed a model known as accountability for reasonableness. This was a model developed by Professor Norman Daniels at Harvard School of Public Health. So in this, it may be of interest to you that this model or this approach has been developed in different countries. And we have also, in collaboration with the Alliance for Health Policy and Systems Research, developed a separate report on essential medicine. So looking at this particular slide, at this point, as we have moved past the MDGs and moving forward into the SDGs, there are additional components that we want to focus on. So these are just two of them. Quality of care wasn't quite captured within the whole financial initiative of UHC. You may have coverage, but it doesn't tell us anything with the quality of care that is taking place. Of course, there is also the notion of accountability. So within the WIPRO regional office, next slide please. Thank you. So within the WIPRO regional office, we have developed action domains, if you like, additional factors, or additional components within the health system. So now we are moving beyond the financial component. Of course, there will still be a lot more work to be done in terms of the financial aspects. But moving beyond that, because we find that there are many interrelated, in fact, all these various components are interrelated. So when you think of finance, there are also critical issues to consider in terms of accountability, as we've seen, and also quality of care issues. So that is moving forward what we intend to do in terms of, thank you, moving the agenda forward between this year to 2030. Thank you. So very broadly, of course, these are the various components of health systems research. So we look at the slides, and if this is of interest to you, you're most welcome to look at this at those times. So broadly, the various components that we want to focus on. Next slide, please. More details in terms of what the WHO considers to be the essential building block, each of which we intend to develop further. Next slide, please. And essentially to look at some of these supporting blocks, if you like, that are critical to health system strengthening and development. Next slide, please. So in terms of this research that's currently being implemented, we are looking at the WIPRO countries. So again, for those of you who are not familiar with the WHO organization, so the ones in dark blue, these are the WIPRO countries. And as you see, Sierra countries would be in light blue. So we have started this project for the WIPRO country because this is the initial stages, and we hope that Indonesia will be interested, particularly in looking at quality of care and accountability issues. So next slide, please. So generally, you can look at the figures in terms of the various WIPRO countries that we have looked at. So this is a general review. Next slide, please. I'll be happy to share more information about methodologies if you should be interested in this. We talked about publication up towards the end of this year, so that might be a good reference for those of you who are interested. So generally, some of the findings that are not particularly surprising. I missed a step, but no problem. I think my time is almost up. But in terms of the next steps moving forward, we want to be more granular in understanding quality of care issues. Of course, again, one of the biggest challenges is developing an appropriate and robust indicator for quality of care. It has been well, if you ask the health economists, they say like, okay, quality of care is not really our concern. So we don't know whose concern it is. So that sort of that conversation has sort of fallen out in the finance aspect, but in moving forward, that's what we hope to develop. So thank you very much. I think that's the last slide of references if you're interested, and then finally one more slide. For those of you who haven't been to Singapore, most welcome to visit. I hope to collaborate, and my email address is on the slide.
In my opinion, also very important because ethical and professional issues very, very important thing for health services. And you invite all of us to join in to collaboration. Thank you. The next speaker will be Dr. Murtami from Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to share one of our research updates from Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia. And in line with our commitment to research and international community, I would like to talk about the roles of forensic science in maintaining a sustainable world security. Next slide, please. In my address today, I want to stand back a bit and look back to some of the emerging criminal environment or disasters in the recent 5 years. Both migrants risk everything for a new life, athletes who lied about their age, terrorist attacks in Paris, Belgium, and also in our own city, Jakarta, mass disasters such as earthquakes and transportation accidents. Slide, please. Let's take a balanced view of the nature of the emerging threats and to suggest that these incidents create opportunities for us to explore more in research to make the world a more secure place in which to live. Does health sciences play a role locally, nationally, and globally? Over the years, Faculty of Dentistry has much to offer law enforcement in the detection and solution of crime or in civil proceedings. It is our commitment to protect the society from crimes, terrorism, and human rights violations. So these are my two updates today, but for today's talk, I only will talk about the first one. So in dental professionals, we have a major role to play in keeping accurate dental records and providing all necessary information so that legal authorities may recognize malpractice, negligence, fraud, or abuse, and identify unknown humans. But for the second one, we also do advanced research in molecular biology to explore more in human DNA. Slide, please. So, age estimations in cadavers, human remains, and living individuals may clarify issues with significant legal and social ramifications for individuals as well as for the community. As for the death, estimating age of unknown dead bodies facilitates a trace search for antemortem data by narrowing the age interval of the search. Whereas in the living, the forensic age estimation in the living are requested in relation to age thresholds in criminal investigations during immigration procedures and also for civil purposes. In recent years, age estimation has become increasingly important in living people for a variety of reasons, including identifying criminal and legal responsibility, and for many other social events such as birth certificate, marriage, beginning a job, joining the army, and also retirement. So from the age estimation theory, for instance, age estimation is a very useful scientific process that estimates an individual's true chronological age by assessing skeletal and dental development and maturation. Although human growth and maturation is unique to each individual, dental techniques for estimating age are currently considered the best in assessing true chronological age, particularly during the age range when the dentition is undergoing morphological development. Slide, please. So from all the age estimation theories, however, we need to put an emphasis of the role of age estimation in terms of the Indonesian law. So there are several Indonesian laws, these are the most common, that we consider very critical, and in such case the age is necessary to be determined. For example, for child court, sexual crime, marriage, traffic and transportation, population administration, child protection, and also in the Civil Act for legal adult age. Slide, please. In Indonesia, we rarely determine age on deceased persons, especially in mass casualty. Usually, we just give a rough age estimation of the victims. In this study, we focus more on living individuals based on evidence in Indonesia that needs more accurate age estimation, such as in age fraud in sports or labor or underage marriage. Slides, please. So several researches have been done in age estimation from tooth growth and development by using different types of methods, morphological methods, biochemistry, radiography, and histology. Slide, please. So we did age estimation for child, teenager, and young adult group. Next. Okay. The first is with Atlas method. We compare tooth development from a dental radiograph, and we've established the Indonesian Atlas for age estimation from 5 to 23 years old. Next. And by scoring method, we did evaluation on third molar development, and we found that third molar development differs in different population. Slide, please. So these are the atlas. We made the atlas by based on the tooth calcification. Next, tooth eruption. Next, and tooth resorption. So then we developed the complete atlas of tooth development for Indonesian population in range of 5 to 23 years old. Slide, please. And by the scoring method of third molar developments, we found that third molar development differs in different population. We use different population of Indonesian population compared to Japanese, Saudi Arabian, and Turkish population. We did this by Delirigen method and the third molar development method. Next slide, please. And the last one of age estimation method is in the adult group. The name is the TCI, or tooth coronal index. So we measured the coronal height and crown pulp chamber height and put it in a TCI formula. Slide. So we get the regression equation formula for each age by using all tools, including incisive, caninus, premolar, and molar. So in conclusion, we've established the age estimation method for critical age in terms of Indonesian law, which is from 5 years old to 70 years old. In principle, this method could be put in immediate practical use by the law enforcement. So we already use these methods in applied cases, such as sexual assault cases, athletes age fraud, and also in several transportation accidents. And these are the collaborators in age estimation research: Dr. Denitra, Dr. Adisti, Dr. Firdaus, Dr. Johanna, Dr. Midya, Dr. Jaya, and myself. Thank you very much for your attention.
I think this is also a very important thing, and hopefully that all the dentists in Indonesia and also in Asia can use its estimation. The next speaker will be Dr. Agustin Kusumasyati.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. It's really nice to be here to meet all of you. And lucky for me, I found already my counterpart, Mr. National University of Singapore, because we are the same subject, public health. Okay, let me share with you the public health research homeworks from our perspective. Next slide, please. So let me share with you first the public health challenges, especially in Indonesia, and then the research framework that we need to react or to overcome the problems. Next, please. First is an issue of globalization. We know that global situation really affect all countries in the world. There are several things that we recognize. First is there is a relationship between economic growth and health status. And then there are positive effects of development in science and technology. But there are so many negative effects of environmental degradation, of unhealthy goods trading and permissive behaviors, negative health effects of conflicts and insecurity everywhere, and also borderless and explosive infectious disease transmission. So, next please. So, these are our homeworks. How we can measure and then we can prove the impact of the globalization and then give enough evidence to react properly about the situation. Health sector and other health related sectors capacitation. For example, how can we develop regulation that promote healthy lifestyle? Economic investment, how can we do economic investment that give positive impact to health indicators? And also migration of human health resources in and out countries that also benefit to the health indicators. Next please. Second situation is the Sustainable Development Goals. This is a very popular. I think no one of us do not know these issues. Next please. This is how we can generate the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And then next please. Some of them are really related to health, even it is not the health itself. For example, about gender and equality, how we can empower all women and girls so that it will give a positive impact on health. Secondly, it's about education. We know that education is an important determinant of health status. How we can develop an equitable and quality education. Next is poverty. Poverty is the root of many health problems. And then if we see all the problems, the very root of all problems are poverty and uneducation. Next please. Another thing is about working, the opportunity to have a good job and then income for the people. And the next please. Another thing is how can we reduce inequality, because inequality really affect negatively to health status. How we can promote peaceful and inclusive societies so that all people may live in conducive environment to their health. Next please. This is really healthier nutrition. How can we end hunger, provide food, secure the food availability, and as well as the food safety, so that people may gain a best nutritional situation for their health. Another thing is how we can promote the well-being of all people, all ages, all ethnic groups in everywhere, and then how can we develop a good living environment for the people. Next, please. Climate change is to some extent, not to some extent, to many extents influence the health status. So we have to really put attention on climate change and then try to combat the impacts of the climate change. So, next please. These are the homeworks of the public health research. SDGs really give a very strategic position to health and welfare, but the question is how can we use this opportunity to really improve the health status of the population, of the community. Many thoughts come up, for example, whether we can strengthen the capacity and capabilities of health and other related sectors to work together, to integrate, working together. The local government with the local government, with the business, with the community themselves, for example. And then we are talking about health sector reform. How are the health sector reform really can be happen in our countries to the fullest situation and then really support the development of health situation in the country. And how other sectors may work in integration and then support the achievement of the sustainable development goals, and then also support the health reform itself. Next. About human resource in health, the roles and responsibility of stakeholders, how university education can really link and match with the need of the community. The other thing is our country try to focus our health development up to the down at the village level. So how we can develop the village so that the people may have a healthy lifestyle there in the village up to the healthy city. We have problems with environmental protection in our country. We really have this problem. Food security and also food safety. We have many problems with food safety related with the use of food additive that usually forbidden to be used, for example. And then also disaster management, because we have naturally we have many natural disasters here in Indonesia. Next please. And we come with the issue of universal health coverage. This is really tools that want to improve the health situation and then give many advantages to us in terms of the healthcare services. It become better from the primary level up to the referral, up to the top referral levels, and then community health empowerment, healthcare financing, strengthening decentralization, and also give a space for research to improve the health sector reform. But we have problem. These are our homework. How we can improve the capacity both at the national and local government health accounts. Another thing is about the financing, especially the financing priority for promotion and prevention. The public-private mix, for example. And then community reliance, health services, quality standard, and patient safety orientation. Next, please. The village development, if I said before, that our government focuses on village development. Okay. Next, please. So these are the homeworks related to the village development issues. Next, please. Now I come to our current. Next, please. Yeah, this is the paradigm that the University of Indonesia or Universitas Indonesia as another supplier provide evidence for health development and provide or give an input for regulation policies and programs. Next, please. Yeah. Okay, just skip this. Next. Okay, these are the current priority or research in our faculty. First, dealing with the environmental health, we have some research regarding with biomarker, environmental toxicity, environmental health and disaster management, water supply and sanitation. We have serial research regarding with quality and in healthcare and patient safety. About nutrition, we focus ourselves for nutrition and non-communicable diseases as well as nutrition and child development. Next, please. Reproductive health issues relating with how we can provide appropriate technology to improve maternal and neonatal health, empower adolescents to have healthy lifestyle, prevention of sexually transmitted diseases, HIV/AIDS, and then gender and health. Well, for lifestyle and non-communicable diseases, we have many research related to tobacco control and substance abuse control. Next, please. Universal high coverage, I mentioned before, and finally we have a research center working on occupational health and safety. We have many research on hazard identification and control, risk management, and safety and protection. Okay, I think this is all that I can share with you, what we have in our mind and what we have in our research activity. We are happy to have collaboration with you all here. Thank you.
Thank you. I think your program is very, very big, but it's also inspiring that we can collaborate in this issue because public health is never-ending progress. The next speaker will be Professor from University Hospital.
Good morning. My name is Inta Kato. Nama saya Inta Kato. In the morning, one of the staff said to me, "Oh, your face is a little bit different from the leaflet of the picture." And my picture is listed page 9, so please check the real Kato and the picture by yourself, okay? Okay, today I want to make a presentation which introduces the Japanese healthcare system and the database of health insurance claim data and future use for healthcare policy. To begin with, I want to explain about the healthcare system in Japan. Sorry. And this is an estimation of the demographic trend in Japan. As you know, in Japan, the population has gradually and slightly decreasing year by year. And the estimation shows that the population of high-aged guys increasing year by year, compared with the childbirth rate is stagnated in a lower level. And this is the population pyramid. The rate to 2025 and 2060 is an estimation. You know, the second baby boomer, born in 1971 to 1974, including me, is from the estimation, the most populous generation from 2025 to 2060. So this is a big problem, super high age society in Japan. And these two slides is an introduction of the demographic trend. And then I want to move on the explanation of the health insurance system in Japan. In Japan, there are 4 agencies. One is patient citizen, and the other is insurer, health insurance group. The third, medical institution, and the fourth, all these agencies like clearing the house. In Japan, universal coverage system is established in 1961. Maybe this universal healthcare coverage system supports contribute to the long survival rate of Japanese people. You know, so to maintain this health insurance system, the first, every month, citizens pay premiums to insurance groups, insurers. And then, if patient got sick, go to the medical institution and get health care. At that time, patient recovers from sick. Patient must pay 30% out-of-pocket money. In the elder, 10%, but it depends on the income and age. The remaining 70%, medical institution requests health insurance group to get, but the connection between health insurance group and medical institutions, audit payment to the agency, like clearing the house, checks the contents of the medical treatment. And if this agency considers this medical treatment is too much, insurance group need not pay so much. So this system is a core system of medical healthcare insurance system in Japan. And these, the connection between health insurance group and the medical institutions, this communication is made by electronic information. This is another good point of Japanese healthcare system. This is a high-cost medical treatment system. So in case you got sick, especially for example, severe liver damage, so patient must go liver transplantation. Medical expenditure is very high. So even 70% are supported, patient must pay a lot. But in Japan, this high medical treatment system, high-cost medical treatment system supported, so that patient must pay only, in case patient got 10,000 US dollars treatment, patient must pay only less than $1,000. This is a very good system. But because of this good system, the Japanese healthcare system is every time fears sustainability. So we moved on to the second topic about database, which is composed of claims data and health data, so-called NDB. NDB is composed of two components. One is the claims data. So Japan is a universal health insurance coverage system, so that these claims data are stored by ministry. So almost all citizens' claims data are managed by government. And the second component is adult health checkup system. This health checkup is not focusing on the cancer, but kind of metabolic syndrome. So Japanese claims data contains disease name, the contents of treatment, prescription, operation, etc. But some field which should not be covered by health insurance are not recorded to this database system, like normal delivery, traffic accident, etc. You know, this is a trend. So this system started in 2008, but recently all health insurance claims charges are reported by electronic system, so that ministry, in a sense, covered almost more than 95% of the insurance communication. This is a flow. Claims data and health status apps data are managed separately. Topics and problems concerning MDBT that, you know, in Japan there is no social ID, national ID, so that the connection is not so good. Especially patient health insurance group changed, and this kind of connection become sometimes cannot connect. And the second problem is that data is not stored in a usable manner. You know, this is a Japanese paper styled claims data. It contains, you know, what I want to say is that there are several local rules which contains, you know, omitted some such kind of local rule exists, and even the electric system, such kind of local system still remain. That makes the problem more and more worse. But, you know, by using in a good manner, we can extract a good outcome from this claims data. This is one example. This bar chart represents the number of heat exhaustion patients. And you know, the line chart, red line chart, is the average summer temperature in Tokyo. So you can find the bar chart and line chart has a good similarity, good connection. One exception is that 2010, the number of patients of heat exhaustion is a little bit lower than the average year. And this is also true in outpatients. But, you know, 2010 is the ratio of electrically recorded claims data is not so good. So, the previous, we can explain the previous bias. Okay, the final conclusion is that we should discuss about using claims data by many specialists, not only medical doctors, but also epidemiologists or medical informatics or health insurance institutions, etc. Okay. The final conclusion is that, sorry for fast connection. So, claims data in Japan is now starting to gather, and it shows by using in a good manner, we can extract a good outcome to use for good policy making. But to do so, the good collaboration, Dr. who know, scholars who know about healthcare policy, epidemiologists, etc., works together, and it is vitally important. Excuse me, it's a pretty for me to advertise about Japan and Kyoto. This is the location of Kyoto, the central area of Japan, and Kyoto is located there. And in the spring, very beautiful cherry blossoms existed in a lot of sightseeing spots. And Kyoto University is there, and this is a very famous professor, Shinichi Yamanaka, got a Nobel Prize 2 years ago. And here the Kyoto University Hospital, contains established in 1899 and includes 34 departments, more than 1,000 beds. But in case you have a chance to visit Japan, please drop by Kyoto University. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor. I think health insurance system in Japan well established. It means that we have to learn from it. Please sit down. The next speaker will be Dr. Mahdi from Faculty of Pharmacy, Universitas Indonesia.
My research is about the herbal, about the nanoparticle. Nowadays, the nanoparticle is the 10 minus 9. If we reduce the particle size for the drugs, the more absorption and the good for the bioavailability. Next slide. Next slide. Sending me this slide in the morning. Okay. Next one, please. Okay. Indonesia have a very abundant herbal, also for the drugs. I think it's mostly in Java. Next slide, please. The idea of herbal medicine depend on oral function of the very active compound as we are constituent comparison action and thus enhance the therapeutic value. Most of the herbal origin drugs, such as insoluble factor, it is a lower bioavailability. And this systemic clearance requires it is the OS, the we call in Indonesia jamu. Poor candidate for the therapeutic use. The bioavailability can be improved with the use of different novel delivery systems like ribosome, inosome, and liposome. This can enhance the rate of release of capacity. We use the phospholipid-based drug delivery system has been found much hopeful to rise promising for the efficacy of herbal drug delivery. The herbal formulation in nano size is form like liposome and nanosome, like nanoemulsion, always have attracted considerable attention when developing to skin because of their good activity and lessening of side effects in drugs. This is our problem in Indonesia. More than 90% of raw materials, active ingredient and excipient for pharmaceutical industry in Indonesia is still imported. This is an example. Could mean like the mentioned for Dr. Vivek or first speaker. And the second example is Santon. It fully solvable in the Mobile and West bioavailability. We using the dry reversible emulsion to enhance the bioavailability. Also, the sample from the Garcinia mansano or manggis, we use the ribosome drug delivery system. Curcumin is active ingredient used obtained from the turmeric. The poor solubility, only 11 nanogram per milliliter, low and systemic molecular, very limited clinical use. We use the drivers of emulsion to get system and alternative to the usual product carrying, such as emulsion, liposome, and microfractose. The advantage is system, the stability, easy to manufacture, improve storage, convenient, and increase the precision of dosing from solid versus form. Compare the conventional liquid emulsion. The formula, we use the sodium caseinate as a surfactant with the tank. This is the method is the maltodextrin, also the sodium is a surfactant, and PCO is a oil base, and DD also spread dry under the DDE powder. And after adding with water, becomes DDE solution. Then we look the particle size. If we reduce the particle size, the volume will be less than 700 nanometer. This is result of the SEM with magnification with 20,000 times. This is DSE for the melting point, and it's the curcumin, and then after we using the surfactant, the TTE will change the melting point. This is the Dusman provide. In the other, this is the curcumin in the conventional, and we use it in the blue line and the red line. We're using the dry reversible emulsion. The good for the result for the dissolution profile. The second example, we use the Longstream peridot, where we contain xanthone, have a potential for antioxidant. We very poorly soluble and hydrophobic and less bioavailability. We needed the liposome for the topical application, hydrophobic and the drugs, and we increase delivery drugs, and we increase the solubility for the cosmetic and dry skin. You look our skin need the supplement antioxidant, antioxidant from the xanthone, enzymatic and less effective, and to prevent and oxidative degradation. This is the methodology until the clinical study. This is from the sample observation using the maceration and fractionation with dichromethane and to test antioxidant activity using the DVH method. We use the gel formulation and mixing with liposome in the gel. We using also the measuring the antioxidant activity, test the DVH method, and physical stability of the gel dosage form. This is the mechanism. We're using the phospholipid. Phospholipid is a surfactant, cholesterol. This is the result. The mangosteen extract, and then change the xanthone and the xanthone of granule. The antioxidant activity test extract mangosteen perhaps using the DPH, using the ICP.
Only 2 minutes, but because there's a technical problem that I give you 4 minutes.
The liposome is with 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, and 6-1 for the ratio of the server tank. Liposome cell formula. We look the particle size after we reduce with the exclusion with the 6 cycles. The D90 is less than 251.54 and the TDI less than 0.1. This is the particle size before treatment, and after treatment is very low, is 124. This is the result of the TAM, transmission electromagnetic result. It's a good one for the emission of 80,000 times. This is a percent of inhibition. It's the formula 1, 2, yeah. This is a penetration study using the skin of the rat. This is the result of the provide alternative amount of alpha-mangosteen that contain of the xanthone. This is the flux of alpha-mangosteen at this time. The good one is for the blue line. The red one. So our result was published in the journal. That's it. The clinical study is still going. The test was conducted in 21 subjects. 21 tested. Ongoing research. Our conclusion: the effectivity of extract from the herbal more higher in the nanocytes dosage form compared with extract in the ritual dosage form. Thank you.
Thank you. Next slide. Thank you very much for information about the herbal research. And the next speaker will be Professor Eiji Matsura from Okayama University.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. Very fruitful first Asian research symposium. It is a great honor to introduce briefly our molecular imaging center and also ongoing study because several invention and molecular students contributed very well. Originally come from Indonesia University and Gajah Mada and Udaya, and also through University in Kuala in Malaysia. Next group. Okay, a little bit complicated, but if I want to introduce about what is the molecular imaging, we have to introduce several instruments, especially novel instrument. This instrument is PET, positron emission tomography, and also a single step PET. And fortunately, Japanese government provided us several years ago all set of the instrument is to our center. Next, please. And so for the Okayama Medical Innovation Center, and we are provided anybody's visiting here to contribute the screening for the candidate of the medicine and confirm the study in vitro by using the mass spectrometer, and also followed by in vivo imaging system with rodent and also primates. And after that, we can move on concentrate to clinical studies. Next, please. And also we have really good technology for us humanize and shortening antibody from the original IgG, because the original IgG has a huge molecular weight of 150 kilodaltons. It is very harmful because if we inject the human, they generated the immune responses. Okay, next please. Next please. Once we got a good antibody labeled with metal ion recognized by PET imaging system, we injected it back to imaging. If we injected in human in vitro intravenously, no, right? Okay. Anyway, in vitro imaging provided by injection in vitro intravenous injection to identify exactly where the region, for example, cancer or atherosclerosis. Okay, let's move. This is one of the examples in the experiment. We set up the nude mice genome graph with magnetic cells and to detect cancer region by very specific antibodies labeled with copper ion. But you know that not only the region but also the liver is accumulated by the antibodies, non-specific detection. Next please. So recently, Japanese government provided us a huge amount of budget to create a new nuclei recognized PET imaging, and we have already established a purification system for one new nuclei, namely zirconium-89. Zirconium-89 don't harm the beta minus ray, harmful for normal cells. So this is very reliable radioisotope for predicting any kind of disease in the near future. Bottom left panel showed we don't have any significant non-specific binding with the zirconium-89. Next please. And also we have established a parallel system for producing the single chain FV by molecular imaging technology by using the human decompiled cell line by phage library system. Next please. And we are working not only the cancer research but also atherosclerosis and aging and also management of the gene therapy. Next please. Okay, this is one of the examples focusing for the cancer research. We already established monoclonal antibodies against the mesothelin, which is a molecule expressed on the cell, cancer cell, and also we have already established monoclonal antibodies against this one, and also reduced and humanized to make a single chain FV. Next please. This is the construction of the single chain FV, which has the variable region of the light chain and also a heavy chain. Very simple structure, but still have a high affinity and specificity to the cancer. So far, you look in the middle panel as compared to IgG or single chain FV. IgG have the non-specific accumulation in the liver, so we prefer to use the short side IgG variant, namely a single chain FV. Next slide. So this is a very important slide. We would like to emphasize a new technology, namely the diagnostics. If we whenever we approach to human health care, we diagnose or we therapy individually. But we also already established a new model, a new device, which can provide simultaneously therapy and diagnosis. So we call the diagnostics new technology. If we injected it intravenously with the specificity of the antibodies covered with the drug delivery system to deliver to the region, and if we injected siRNA reduce the specific antibodies, antigen protein to induce the apoptosis. So we can also provide the therapy. Next please. Next please. And this already passed half quarter, so don't give up to hear me. So next please. So this is the part of the atherosclerosis studies. You know the bad cholesterol, LDL, it must be oxidized to accumulated atherosclerotic plaque. But recently we observed one particular protein, namely beta-glucan 1 complex with the oxidized LDL. Next please. And this is the paradigm of coronary atherosclerotic plaque. If we have the shear stress and also diabetes, hypertension, enterium is easily damaged and immediately LDL come, and also macrophage come into the intima to generate the atherosclerotic plaque. This here, this antigen molecule is the oxidized LDL beta-glucan complex, and once we have rupture the atherosclerotic plaque, this complex is releasing out into the circulation. Next slide. And we already established a monoclonal antibodies against the complex and to establish the diagnostic system. This namely Atherox already approved the European, and also under the evaluation for getting the FDA approval in the United States and Japan also. Next slide. And also we prepared a single chain FP from the original monoclonal antibody from mice. This data indicated the specific staining of the antibody to the atherosclerotic plaque. Next please. So this is the final part. We also approached to the establishment of the imaging system for atherosclerotic. And you can see this is a very clever animal. This is the collaborator of us. Watanabe hyperlipidemic rabbit. After age of the 6 months of birth, they significantly have the atherosclerotic plaque arch of the arterial vessels. As you can see, on the top right side, we can get a significant detected atherosclerotic plaque with the antibodies, especially single chain with the Next please. So the protein, I don't mention more detail, but this protein is very unique protein. So right now, one of the students from the University of Indonesia, the faculty of physics, she can really work hard with this protein to clarify exactly what feature have individual domain. Especially domain 1 is targeted to angiogenesis. So next slide, please. This is a very complicated. This is the last slide. Okay. Development. If I would like to explain the cardiovascular disease, it takes a long time, more than 20 years or more. And most of the period, we don't have any symptom. Asymptomatic stages are there. And during the period, we really want to diagnose for the high risk patient with the cardiovascular disease. So this is the reason why we established the in vitro diagnosis followed by in vivo imaging system. So this is just only one part of our studies. So I'm really happy to join you and presented a brief summary with working with fantastic your colleagues and students. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. My presentation is a bit different than all presentation before. This is really about the human resources, especially in nursing. We know that slide. This is our joint research. Actually, the joint research is already done in two type of joint research. The first joint research is University of Indonesia in Faculty of Nursing and Kyushu University, which the representative here is Professor Yuko Hirano, which us there. We know that this is important for us. Next slide. That joint research will be serve society and stimulating innovation and supporting competitiveness. For that reason, and some objective also. Next slide. We know that benefit of joint research, and for that reason, the team of Faculty of Nursing in 2009-2011 from Faculty of Nursing University of Indonesia, Universitas Indonesia. We are also from two faculties, Faculty of Nursing and Faculty of Humanity, UI, and the team from Kyushu University, led by Professor Sun Ono and Professor Yuko Hirano, that will be the next speaker, conduct our first joint research, whereas have a lot of benefits to prepare the foreign nurses that will working in Japan. We are able to publish and socialize the result of our research with Japan and Indonesian government to improve the economic partnership agreement. The current research that I'm going to present is the next joint research with another university, but this is following the result of the first joint research. Next slide. So the next slide, yeah. Before, yeah, the title please. Before this slide. The research is cross-cultural adaptation among Indonesian nurses in Japan. I and Professor Ishikawa Yoko from Tokyo Metropolitan University have done this. This is the background of the research study. Is about the economic partnership agreement by Japan government. And for that economic partner EPA program, a lot of foreign nurses accepted to work in Japan. Even in nurses from Indonesia, nurses from Philippines accepted in Japan. Next slide. Japan government implement policy to promote the acceptance of foreign nurses, but the number of applicants decreased each year. If you show this next slide, these foreign nurses working in Japan decreased from 2008 until 2012. Next slide. Yeah, some issue that coming after our research, first research, joint research with Kyushu. We found out that they still have difficulty to do the national exam in Japan language. So even though they're already studying in preparation for national nursing exam, even though also there are some reading in Japan and write Japan's reading writing already prepared for the applicants, and also comprehension study for the Japan Health School, already done. But some problem coming in this time, that the national nursing exam is still difficult for us, even though they already increasing after our socialization. The first joint recent with QSU increased from 0% that passed the national exam until right now 2012, maybe more, 11.3% already passed. Next slide. Another issue is, even though they are already accepted as nurses working in Japan and registered nurse, but they have a lot of problem, especially they have a cultural issue like forced to remove their scarf, jilbab, and also asked them to drink an alcohol. Next slide. Yeah, the problem is the number of applicants, facilities, and applying to receive foreign nurses decreased by the number of return home, even though they already passed the exam, they return to Indonesia. Next. So my joint research with the Metropolitan Tokyo University have the objective to clarify what happened, why they going back home, and to clarify the employment needs, both foreign nurses that want to work in Japan and also facilities that accept, as well as issue that regarding adaptation of foreign nurse culture, and to explore policy for cooperating with foreign nurses. Next slide. The method that we use is a quantitative research. This is a phenomenology study to explore their experience in employment, the relevant subject and the issue they face regarding adaptation of culture that they face in Japan. Next slide. This is actually the result is stage 1. We have 3 stages. Stage 1 is to clarify what foreign nurses seek from employment in Japan, and the second is to clarify the reason that receiving facilities employ foreign nurses, and another next slide. Another stage will be produce a program in cross-cultural adaptation, and will be evaluated in the next stage. The subject in the first stage is 16 nurses from Indonesia that have come to Japan through APA and have returned to Indonesia. And the interview had conducted to the candidates. The survey contains, next slide. The survey contents are recent the APA application methods, and for most return to Indonesia, we asking reason why they return home even though they already passed the examination. The analysis we use is thematic content analysis, and this is the result. There are 16 of them. There are 16 of them have been interviewed. Some of them are, most of them are female. Only only a small amount are male. And they are already working in Indonesia because mostly they work not in the hospital but in Japan company in Indonesia. The result we found is 17. We have identified next slide. participants feel comfortable with the support given by the hospital in Japan, and as a foreign nurses, participants feel stressed, and the culture and norm and workplace experience of culture practice have been identified, and also the experience participant of religious differences practice. Another theme that we found is participant experience in professional practice, and also recent going back to their own country, and participant expectation of culture and religion practice. Next slide. So this is first theme. Next, we found in the first theme we found that they feel that kids work for national examination, and also we found out that the participants feel that the institution treat foreign nurses differently. Next slide. And we, in the second theme, we found they feel stressed because they are away from the family. Next time. Next. And the second, because participants cope themselves with some activities in there, and also some reasons that they found is because they are going back. The stress is because mostly is they want to go home, and for that reason they do some activities like talk to family and friends. The third thing is very important thing for this research, that they found the participants found discrimination to foreigners, Japan's misunderstand Indonesian culture, and sometimes arrogant. This is their statement. And difficult to adapt Japan life, and also participant experience of religions, differences, practices that we found very important is curious about religion practice. They got a lot of questions about religion and try to answer that. And also they found it difficult to explain about Islam, feel uncomfortable with their problem in doing prayer practice, also prejudice against Muslims, but in other time they also have support in practicing Ramadan in Japan. Also they have a problem to find halal food in there. The thing that we found is, and the religious practice, in another way, the religious practice was respected by Japan community. The participant experience and professional practice, they've been working place is disappointing, they've been working place but in another hospital, they found working in Japan is better, and also the utilizing experience from Japan is very good, and also win-to-win solution for which country is their experience. Reason of going back, they said that because of family reason and went back to marriage. The last stage is participant expectation of culture and religion practice in the new working place. They found that they need special consideration for foreigners in Japan community, need strong spirit from the participant or nurses that want to work in Japan, and also Japan should understand foreign country. From 7 days, we use them to as a basic data to develop the program in cultural adaptation of foreign nurses working in Japan that right now still in process. Thank you very much.
It's about migration of nurse. But I'm wondering why they come back because of marriage. Why not get married with Japanese gentlemen like that? Yes, yes, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Yuko Hirano, and I've been here in UI since 2007, I guess, just before Indonesian government sent Japan nurses and care workers. And since then, Sejawati, Professor Sejawati, and also Dr. Pibuli, who is now taking care of us, is working as a co-worker. I'm so proud to be here and then share our experiences and also the empirical data we have obtained by doing research. Now, the long-term care by migrant nurses and certified care workers in Japan is my title of my presentation, but my big sister, Sejawati, has already explained about the nurses already. So we're going to talk about the care workers by illustrating the care workers by comparing the characteristics of the nurses. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is a number of the nurses and care workers that we, the Japanese people, the Japanese government has received. And so far, about 1,000 nurses and 2,000 care workers, certified care workers, we have already received. And half of them from Indonesia, this country. So you are the biggest country that sent us the human resources in this context. Okay, next slide, please. Aim of this presentation is 3 points. One is to describe the differences of job description of nurse and certified care workers. You may know nurse, but you don't know about the certified care workers. It's kind of, in interpretation, in Bahasa Indonesia, it's kind of perawat lansia. But it's totally different from what you imagine from that word. Okay, I'm going to explain about it. The second one, okay, the difference of job description and nurse and certified care workers. Next slide. Okay, can you distinguish certified care workers from nurses? Which one is nurse, do you think? Right hand side or left hand side? If they look alike. Okay. Next. This is nurse. The left hand side is nurse. The registered nurse. And then the right hand side is the certified care workers. That's as an image. And then in our language, we call it kaigo fukushishi. Yeah, kaigo is a care. But the concept of care is different from what you have, or more now. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is a classification of healthcare workers, nurses, under the law of public health nurses, midwives, and nurses. And then it's more or less, it's covered with what you have as a health nurse, as a health professional. But the care workers like this, the term care worker that's used in this act means a person who is engaged in a business that first registered his or her name in paragraph Article 42 using the application of certified care worker with a special knowledge and skills. Special knowledge and skills is their profession. Okay? And then consulting person who is physically or mentally handicapped, thus being disabled to live in a usual life under such conditions, providing nurses in response to such physical condition, like absorption, other conducts that are necessary to conduct for the daily life, etc., etc. It's kind of a very professional work. Okay, next slide, please. To make it simple, I just make them look like this. The job description of nurse and certified care workers, you know the nurse. For example, the certified care workers, and then what the nurses are doing overlap here, but they have that. They have the uniqueness that is handled by the certified care workers, and then I will illustrate like this. The certified care workers are able to coordinate patients in the local communities by acquiring knowledge of the social welfare system, especially those care workers who are working outside of the institution. Nurses in our country, of course, we have home care nursing, but most of the nurses are working institutional based. But recently, our regulation of EP care workers had changes that we're going to offer them to provide the cares in the local community because of running short of the number of human resources and care systems. Okay, next slide. The second, we would like to focus how Indonesian certified care workers feel about their work in Japan. Most of the Indonesian care workers are the nurse graduate of this country. And then, of course, we have a lot of UI graduates going to Japan to under the nurse track and also the care worker track. Next slide. Okay, they, and as my big sister said, they had just explained a while ago, they have a lots of struggle, cultural struggle. The first one, we have already published the paper, but according to our previous data, some of the Indonesian nurses who went to Japan as a care worker was complaining about, why do I have to feed the elderly like this? They have to feed them. This feeding is their work. Kaigo Fukushi should be a nurse. Why do you have to feed them? By the way, for those non-Bahasa Indonesia speaker, Selawat Lansia means general provision nursing. Okay, one can assume that 35K workers are not satisfied with their job in Japan. And this may derive among mental health amongst migrant care workers. Next slide. This was already proved by empirical data with one of the Indonesian students in Nagasaki University. And then to figure out, the aim of this study is this, to figure out the mental health predictors of Indonesian nurses who entered Japan in 2013. The method is online questionnaire survey and endpoint is GHQ, the General Health Questionnaire, to use as a marker of the mental health status. Next slide. Okay, this is the brief of the characters of the respondents, including both nurses and care workers. 92 of them. And the next slide. Okay, the comparison of independent variables by intake courses. This is a nurse and this is a care worker. And then you can see the differences that care workers have longer hours of working hours per week, and then whereas nurses has a longer hour of studying, and then study hours provided employed by a week is for nurses are longer than the care workers, just because of the regulation. Nurses have to pass the national board examination. The first trial is coming less than, say, 10 months after they enter to Japan, so they have to study very hard. Whereas the care workers, they have 3 years and a half to prepare, but only one chance was given for the care workers. For the nurses, they're given 3 chances. Next slide. Okay, the correlation coefficient between GHQ and each independent variable. GHQ is a differential scale. So the nurses is like this, but interestingly, we're going to focus on the care workers. Interesting thing is that struggle against the current working status treated as an assistant is significantly correlates to the GHQ score, the depression score. That means it's very big. No. Whereas in nurses, there is no correlation. This is a uniqueness. So the type of this struggle or the type of the culture shock is different between the nurses and care workers. So we're going to focus on the care workers. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is the multi-regression analysis of GHQ score. Only pick up the nurse certified care workers. And the strongest one is job satisfaction. As they're satisfied, they have less GHQ. But interestingly, this struggle against current working status treated as a nurse, as an assistant, is one of the main factors that relates to GHQ score. That means they consider themselves as an assistant. Next slide. Why are the Indonesian certified care workers frustrated? Okay, this is an image, like picture. I'll show that. Perawat or perawat is like this. Carrying the intervention with assisting doctors. But whereas the care workers in Indonesia, actually this picture was taken in Indonesia, but Luma Lansia, one of the Luma Lansia in Jakarta a couple of years ago, it's like assisting the elder, like doing that kind of manual work. That's what their perception is. So whenever they're offered by the care worker work in Japan, they go, I have to do this, but I used to be here like this. I used to be nurse, but why I have to do the manual work like care workers? They may think that they are doing all their work, but think about it. It's a culture. Care worker is a professional work in our country. Next slide. Okay, again, we're going to compare the model of images of the job description of nursing care workers. Japan is like this, the nurses, and a part of it is shouldered by the care workers. And even they have a unique part. Again, most of the nurses in Japan are institutional based. They perform their nursing practices under the medical context, whereas the care workers, they're more mixture of medical context and not daily work. So it's mixture. And then whereas in Indonesia, Perawan or Perawanansia is right like this, and then the care workers, or the concept of care workers, are under below that. So that's make the care worker candidates going to Japan frustrated. That's what I Next slide. So creating a new value of care. You know what care is very anthropological or social aspect we have to convert. Next slide. As this EPA program is inviting nurses and care workers from Indonesia to Japan, and then eventually go back to Indonesia again. So we have to consider about how can we support them by providing the uniqueness of care in Japan to provide them that after they go back to Indonesia. What we call is great circulation. So this, according to our survey, the nurse candidates and care worker, certified care worker candidates has different reasons. The primary reason to come to Japan is a little bit different, but the common thing is that even the nurses and the certified care workers, to develop the professional career comes the, first or the second. So they are eager to learn from our system. So why not give them, why not get them to bring their skills, to brush up their skills, especially the gerontology care. For nurses, gerontology nursing, for care workers, gerontology care is in their sense. Again, so this is my last slide. Okay, caring the professional care workers in Indonesia. I would like to suggest that, currently nurse and care workers are underneath, by the performing their job, their job, and they're not even thought that as a professional work. But in the future, we have to really consider about the cultural context of care of Indonesia. But we can create the unique care work things. Care work things, by carefully comparing the social context of elderly care in Indonesia and Japan. You have a bigger family, you have extended family, whereas in our country we have very small, or the nuclear family is the main family, and we have no human resources in our household to take care of the elderly. So that kind of difference we consider about the social or cultural context. So what we would like to do is, by conclusion, this is my next conclusion is this. Care work reflects the social cultural context of the society under which it is taking place. And then the standardization of competency of care, or in our language call it kaigo, must be developed so that it can be learned by Indonesian nurses and care workers, and it to be modified and that's suitable to the cultural context of Indonesia. Thank you very much.
I think the issue is train tourism and how we utilize the listener to train the caregiver in Indonesia. Again, please give big applause to all of them. We are going to discuss. We have only 15 minutes, so I invite you two from the left, two from the middle, and two from the right. Please mention your name and please address who from the. Yes, please. I think quite, your explanation is quite clear. Vita, would you start with your question? Because it's also considering aging, for example.
presentation is about other differences in elderly care between Indonesia and Japan. In Japan, because the rising of number in elderly, so they already, the system, health system and health insurance already well established. And the elderly service, of course, because of the establishment of the system, and the services become much better than in Indonesia. In Indonesia, we already have the elderly services that under ministry, not Ministry of Health, but under the Ministry of Social Welfare. So maybe for that reason, the system is different. It depends really under the Ministry of Health, and the system is already established. But in this case, how they provide the health care or nursing care to the elderly, I think we have a similar basic, because the gerontology nursing already improved here in Indonesia, and we already developed really standardized elderly services, gerontology nursing, and standardized, and maybe also we will develop specialist nursing in gerontology nursing. But in Japan, they have a system that if you are if you will provide the elderly nursing care, especially for daily activity nursing care, you have to be a caregiver. But for the nursing care, the collaboration with medication and giving medicine and a lot of things that more invasive intervention should be the nurse. This is the nurse, so not the specialist self. So first of all, maybe we have to make better the system, or the system should be organized, and then stronger the standard size of nursing care, especially for elderly services in Indonesia.
Okay, she just mentioned about the system, and especially nursing practices between the Indonesia and Japan. I'm going to explain more about the social environment of care in our country in Indonesia. As I explained a little bit about in my presentation, we have expanded family, and we have a lot of family members who support them. So they're more or less, the care work has been privatized and privatized section. Whereas in our country, we have a small number of children, and it's very hard to find a person who can take care of your parents, older parents, while they're having work or raising their children up. It's very hard. So we did a lot. In the year 2000, we developed the official long-term care facility, the long-term care insurance, Kaigo Hokenbo. That's our system. And so we still have a lot of difficulties because, of course, it's a system that we can hire the person as introduce the resources that sent from the local community to assist them. But still, the doctors are very much very hesitate to ask somebody else to care your own parents. So that creates a lot of problems. So it's very difficult for women, especially it's a kind of gender issue, to keep working as well as taking care of your parents. That's what I might be facing right now. Thank you.
May I invite? Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm Sami Diwali of the Faculty of Engineering, University of Indonesia. I'm with my question for Professor Surya Sukarto. like to know deeply about PAT beta and PAT alpha, you can use them to generate modelizations of cancer growth, right? I believe that there are mathematics and physics statements behind the model. So I'm actually interested in considering the statements, equations, the statements or equations behind the model. So my question is, where can I find them? Thank you.
So, thank you very much for the question. I talk too much about low experimental data. So anyway, our research ongoing, and we actually have several different data. I didn't talk today. For example, examination of in vivo cellular proliferation data, or some severe cell proliferation kinetics in severe. From those data, we established that kind of modeling system. And yeah, probably not only TG beta but also other oncogene tumor suppressor genes can make these kind of cellular phenotype. Actually, not so much gene workers don't care cellular phenotypes, just major proliferation rate, or just check make tumor in vivo or not. So in the future, more elucidation, more research as a result to connect molecular level of events and cellular level of events needed to understand more. So I hope I might answer. I'm answering your question.
Thank you. Maybe the next question from Professor Nelly from Faculty of Public Health. Thank you for sharing to our distinguished speakers. I'd like to ask Christine. BPJS, there are no promoting and preventive.
Thank you, Nelly. Currently in Indonesia, we divide our health insurance system that not cover the promotion and prevention in terms of community promotion and prevention. Individual promotion, it can be covered. For example, immunization can be covered. Family planning also. But for the community prevention, for example, fogging, if there is a case of dengue, it's not covered by the universal, our financing system. But actually, at the in other countries, the financing system also cover the promotion and prevention. I mean, in this case, the community prevention and promotion and prevention. So actually, we are promoting to our government to to improve the system so that it's also cover our promotion and prevention efforts in the financing system. In this year, 2016, to let's say to balance the situation, our parliament already agreed to allocate quite a big amount of budget to the Ministry of Health to cover the promotion and prevention. But it should be real come to the system. So we are thinking about promoting the ideas about including also the cost for promotion and prevention in our health insurance system. The other thing is about the role of the private sector. We have learned that many initiatives also comes from the private sectors, and to some extent we also have to have a good link between private and public health services. For example, in providing service towards tuberculosis, for example, our government provide free medicine for tuberculosis, but the patient should come to the public services. As you know, public services are very crowded with so many cases. So some people maybe do not feel comfortable to come to the public places, but if they come to the private place, service, they cannot afford for the medicine. So in this case, if there is a public-private mix between the services and the public and private, and then the medicine comes from the government, then the patient can be covered with both systems. This is one example. We can have another example, especially in your in fact occupational health and safety. So in this case, we know that the responsibility, some of the responsibility will come to the private sectors also. So this is just an example how public-private mix really have to exist to fulfill different demand of our community.
Thank you. So we have another one. Yeah, this is the last one.
Hello. I have two questions. Okay. My first question is to Professor Calvin Ho. So thanks for your presentation on national health system, public health system. But then I was also actually wondering about, are there any efforts undertaken to accommodate from other alternative health systems that exist within the society? Like for instance, in India we have a health system where we take help from other parallel medical systems, like for instance Ayurveda, homeopathy, and indigenous medical systems as well. So do you also actually find those kind of systems in place in the public health system that you are talking about? So I was actually more interested to know about that. That's my first question, and my second question is to Professor from Japan on home healthcare. Madam, I was also thinking about this dynamics between the patient and the care and the professional care worker. Who we actually in India we used to call them homeless. Now we call them home healthcare system. Yeah. So you got already the difference between the dynamics between the patient and the care professional. And the care professional is always actually problematic because they are very much in an individual space. And here the problem is actually more aggravated because there are cultural differences. There are cultural differences between the Indonesian culture and the Japanese culture. So how far do you think this intimate space is more mediated by the culture difference? So that was my question. Thank you.
Maybe the first one, Dr. Calvin.
Yes. Thank you very much for your question. So I hope I understood your question correctly. Do you mean undocumented individuals, for that fall outside of health systems. So thank you. I think that's a difficult issue that we're struggling with, certainly in some of the developed countries. So the current arrangement is to try to identify these individuals, and then within particular health systems to reach out to these particular individuals. So that we have in a number of countries various collaborations as well. So I can't speak for the situation in India. I'd love to hear more about what's happening there. But particularly in places like Papua New Guinea, for instance, where we have very hard to reach individuals, there are collaborative schemes in place between WHO and a number of charitable organizations, international organizations, to try to get basic assistance to these communities in particular, and to try to engage them over time. It's not something that can be done overnight, as you can understand. So ultimately, it is a matter of trying to incorporate them within a particular health system, and that is going to be moving forward towards the SDGs. An important element to health systems strengthening, particularly in systems that are unable to cope with some of the basic stress already, and here a collaborative approach is very important. We are thinking quite actively about how perhaps regional assistance might be a possibility. The private sector to some degree is being engaged with, but I think that's more short-term kind of arrangements in terms of provision of medicines and therapeutics. So a short response, but we'll be happy to discuss this further.
Thank you, Dr. Fu. Dr. Gano, maybe very short. What do you mean?
Relationship between the nurse and the patient in the hospital and the nurse, the care provider, and the patient, for example, in the community. And care workers as a health professional is different, yes, as you mentioned, it's different. But especially what is the two occupation is the law the law of the what they can perform their own intervention in the care work is totally different according to different law. And again, as I told you that the nurses are, the IDs of nurses are more like medical contacts, whereas in care workers or the cargo position in our country is more in life rules. And I'm not quite sure if you have any idea of Indonesia, please help me, but more or less, Indonesia are going to create the new care work. Something that creates, that respect the needs of the elderly based on the life group. That's what they're doing. So still there's a huge gap between the concept of what the needs of the patient in Indonesia and Japan. Discuss it later on because we cannot explain it in 5 minutes. So it's really a big discussion. It's really a context of the history of the social context.
Just add some information about this, because what you mentioned is called home health care. Okay, it's different what we already understand, because it's happened in the health services in the institution. We have also a program to visit, home visit, going to the patient home. This is under the community health program, and mostly the one that visit is really nurses, because it's dealing with the follow-up of the disease and also the follow-up of the medicine. So it should be a community nurse that going to the home care. It's different. So that's why some of the nurses going to follow up, also to check their health status, and if it is necessary, they have to refer to the hospital. That's my information.
Thank you so much. So the time is up, but I think some of you would like to give a comment or maybe asking something, and please feel free to do this in lunchtime. I would like to appreciate to all of the presenters, and I would like to consider what is the follow-up of this very high session. I recommend that we have to follow up this session with the real action. So it means that from this discussion, we consider that there is a life course approach in health system, and that the approach can starting from the basic, genomic, nano, and then policy. And we have also called to improve the capability of the researchers and called to improve the capacity of the research centers that they provide very, very nicely. I would like to invite all of you to join us through the international office and also the FPM. I think we have to collaborate with the FPM. And in my experience before, starting with one topic. At that time, I had a topic aging and health, and aging and dementia. Under this topic, we invite 9 PhD students and 10 master students from all the countries involved. In this case, Indonesia, United Kingdom, and China. Therefore, I would like to follow up this presentation and summarize it and give such real contribution to the development of our research. Thank you very much again. This time to the MC.
Okay, maybe we are gonna help the photo group for the session between moderator and the speakers. So maybe all the speakers and moderator can come to the front row. We'll take photos group. Okay, thank you to Professor Tribudi for moderating this section, and also for all speakers. So, ladies and gentlemen, we give big applause to moderator and speakers. Moderator and speakers, you may kindly proceed again. Okay, before we move to the second section, which is science and Technology, I want to announce that we provide facilities for internet connection by Wi-Fi name and password that you can look at the screen. Okay, that's one. Then we're going to move to section 2.